Oh, what I'm going to be talking about is based upon what I believe. Um, I believe that they want to, that all the things they're doing with all of this gender stuff. See, in courts, is what I believe. They call you male, female. That's what they call animals. The sex when they sex the animals, they call them males and females. Uh, and they call them children. They don't call them kids. They don't call them man. They don't call us man. They don't call us woman. They don't call us a boy. They don't call us a girl. Call the the ones that are girls. Look at your birth certificate when you're born. It states you're a male or a female instead of a boy or a girl. When a woman is pregnant, she always says, or the man or both, I hope I have a boy or I hope I have a girl. Or the doctor, I don't even think they use boy and girl in the hospital. I think they still use male, female when they tell a woman that she's pregnant with a male child or a female child. Animals are called males, females, and children, child. We have kids. We have boys, girls, and then they become men and women when they grow up. We grow up. And they want people to stop using those natural words, original words we've always had before they started calling us males and females and children. And then child, your child, or if you have more than one, then it's children. Because they want to get us away from the natural world. They want to put us in an artificial world. This is my beliefs. They want to put us in an artificial world. All the artificial words they come up with that's never existed. Resident. It's called an automobile when they get a new automobile. It's not called a vehicle until it's titled and registered to be a vehicle, a motor vehicle. You can read and look all this up. But this is what's going on. They're getting rid of the titles, man, woman, boy, girl, and kids, to put us into an artificial world, to get us away from God. Because the so-called government or whoever's in control of it is our God. That's who we're to obey. That's who makes the laws. That's who tells us we're to obey their laws. And they say state laws, but the state don't exist. They have to prove in court that the state exists. And plus, if you turn the state into a victim, the state, Mr. or Miss State of whatever state you live in, has to be on the stand to mouth out, to be heard, that you turn the state, Mr. or Miss State, into a victim by doing this or that, violating its laws that it created. It's called an it. The state is an it. It's not a male. It's not a female. It's not a man. It's not a woman. It's an it. But it don't exist like a chair exists. Well, if it existed like a chair exists, well, the chair's not a male. It's not a female, man or woman. So it can't speak. It can't see anything. It can't write. It can't do anything. The state cannot make laws. And it states in the Declaration of Independence plain and clear. Governors cannot make laws. There's nothing in the Constitution and the state's constitutions that says the governor has the right to create laws. So we're not supposed to be obeying them. They're not supposed to be making laws. Even in the legislative powers. All legislative powers is in the hands of Congress and the state representatives. That's it. Not in the legislative branch. It does not state in there that the legislative powers is given to the or is in the legislative or in the hands of the legislative branch. Only to Congress and the House of Representatives. They have the legislative powers, not the legislative branch. The legislative branch has no powers. So the Highway Safety Act and the UCC, all that was created by the legislative branch. Congress and the House of Representatives never created it. And then the executive branch says, okay, I'll enforce it. I accept it. I'll enforce it. And then, but we got to get the president's okay too, and didn't get the president's okay or veto because it never went through Congress, the House of Representatives, an executive order, or the executive branch. It never went through all that. It's just they allowed the legislative branch to just create this stuff when they're not supposed to be able to, and then the legislative branch is having it enforced as law. These police and sheriffs and state troopers was created out of the Highway Safety Act. The way they perform their job is out of the Highway Safety Act. It is unconstitutional. They're enforcing something that's unconstitutional. The Constitution does not allow it. Show me in the state constitution and the U.S. Constitution that states plain and clear that governors can create law, or that states can create law. All the laws are created by Congress with the House of Representatives. Congress is the only branch that can create laws. And then they got to be passed into law with the executive branch and the president. And none of that ever happened with the Highway Safety Act. These police aren't supposed to be policing us. The sheriffs aren't supposed to be policing us. State troopers aren't supposed to be policing us. They're all unconstitutional. They were created, those departments was created to be used to enslave us further. And so in order to be able to keep us enslaved, when there's not enough of them to do it, and they're not given any power to police us and enslave us, they got to create these other departments. And then they got to hire some of the slaves and give them special treatment and let them be above all the laws that the slaves are not, are supposed to obey. And so they can help them keep us enslaved. All these sheriffs and police and troopers, they're there to help the people that they work for keep us enslaved. They can stop it. The sheriffs, the police, the troopers can all get together with their guns and everything and stop it and arrest all these people. And then they go back to what they were doing. But they don't want to do that because they're making extra money on top of their $100,000 paychecks. 5 figures to 6 figure paychecks. And then they got all the well, you got drug money on you because you got more than 10 grand, so I'm going to call it drug money because all money has drugs on it. A dog will say, you just got too much money, and I just assume and presume that it's drug money without any factual evidence to prove it is, because when you have no drugs on you, and they know that you got to spend money, which may be more than what they take, usually it is, to sue them, to prove, because you got to prove that it wasn't drug money, that you got it fairly, the right way. They're the ones that's supposed to prove that it's drug money. They're the ones that's, they should be taking you to court saying, oh, this is drug money, you're going to sign this, and you're going to show up to court, and we're going to make sure, if it is or not. No, they just take it, and then they split it amongst each other. And because the FBI is involved in all this drug war crap, they get the majority of the money. And then the rest is split up between everybody else involved in getting that drug money. They're getting extra money. They're making extra money when they go into court. They get overtime. That needs to be eliminated. You don't get any extra money if you're going, even when you're showing up to court to do this or that. It's part of your job because you did your job and got them in court. That's their job. And then they're getting paid extra? It's an incentive to do what they do so they can make bank. Rape the public, steal from the public, murder the public. Oh, you killed someone, you shot them and you killed them, or you took them out in a different way, killed them in a different way. Which usually is murder. You won't get to go to jail, though, like, the slaves would, because you're privileged. You work for us. So you can help us further enslave these people. And, and you get pay. So you go give vacation, you get pay. So, you can't leave the state, you can't leave the country, or they can leave the country, they can leave the state, they can go out wherever they want, but we can't. We get an ankle monitor. Not them. They don't get their guns taken away. There's no red flag law on the police. That's upon the slaves. So the police are slaves. They're with the rest of us, but they're treated better. So that way they will do what our masters wants them to do, orders them to do. Because they're order followers. They're not there just to be heroes and protect the public. They got to do good stuff to look good, from time to time. That's their job. Go out there and look good. Oh, there's a cat stuck in a tree or whatever. Go be a hero. Look good. So the people will love you. When you're sitting here as one of them, betraying them and helping our master, or those that's not supposed to be our masters, they're supposed to be our servants, to enslave us to serve them. That's their job. They're slavery enforcers, or enforcement. They enforce slavery. You got liberty, but you got to, and under liberty, you got to ask me for permission to fish. You got to ask me for permission to use your vehicle, and then you got to have this and that, and on your private property or vehicle, you can't do this and that. And that's not freedom. That's privileged under liberty. Under liberty, you have privileges. You're not free. That's why the Statue of Liberty is in the ocean or the waters. It's not on land for freedom. This ain't no home of the free or land of the free. This ain't no land of the free. It's land of the liberated. And it ain't no home of the brave. It's home of the slaves or the cowards. So it's land of the liberated and home of the cowards. Because we cower down to them and we ask for permission like you would a parent as a child. Or as the parent's kid. And parent, the word parent, that's one of their words too. It's a made-up word that they created. They're moms and dads. They're not parents. They're moms and dads. And and then you're boy and girl until you grow up to be a man or a woman. So they created all this stuff to take us away from the natural from reality. They want us in a utopia. To be governed is to be in a utopia. Self-governance, you're in reality and you're governing yourself and your property and you're just living. You got no one to obey. No one asks for permission to do anything. You're free. Free comes from the word freedom. You have no freedoms. You're not free if you got to ask for permission to do anything from another human, as the black slaves had to do. Sweden created handcuffs, the shackles. They were the first ones to create them for slaves. They were created for slaves. Handcuffs are for slaves. And the cops and the police and the sheriffs and the troopers used them on the slaves. And it's never going to end until we end the 14th Amendment that they created to enslave everybody under. And the all caps name. And the Social Security number. We are all slaves. And it's not going to end. So, to gain our freedoms back, we have to stop complying. We have to stop paying for these tickets, showing up in courts. They can't arrest us all. It's a proven fact. If we don't show up to court, 50% of the people in Texas don't have insurance or even registration because we can't afford it. So if we don't show up to court, we don't pay them. That's millions of people in Texas. Tens of millions, or over 100 million people in Texas, if not more. If we don't show up, they can't arrest us all. And then they're going to have to make changes that says we can't enforce this anymore. Nobody's coming in to pay it. We can't arrest them all. Jails are too full. They would just have you in and out. And then right back out to arrest everyone. And it does nothing. You're not sitting in jail over it, being punished. You're just arrested, taken in, booked in. Oh, the jail gets $300 to $700 or $350 to $700 for every person that's booked in. Person, body. Bring some bodies in here to make money, to get funding. If the government did not fund any of this, it would not be going on. That's why they have the jail and prison industrial complex and a stock in it that was created. So every time someone's arrested and booked in, the stock goes up. If they get more people in one day, the stock goes up. And the rich make money. This is how it all works. Stocks and bonds was created for the rich to get rich. And they know how to manipulate it all so they get rich and we don't. Some people will get in the right stuff and happen to get rich. Not very many. 80% of the people in this country are poor, at least. Because we're not taught about how all this system works in schools. We're not taught about politics and how it actually works through the codes, the statutes, and then all the regulations and everything, rules and stuff, how they were all created. And that needs to be taught in school. How the fiat money was created and what it's used for, what it's not supposed to be used for, and what it cannot be used for. They don't want us to know, or the whole thing crumbles. Because it's in their codes and their statutes, CFRs and other stuff, how it all works and how we can get out of it and actually function and have money and be able to live free in America, the United States of America, not the U.S. Quit calling it the U.S. It's the USA, United States of America. But it's not the U.S. alone. We're not in the United States. We have 50 states that's united together to create, or that's placed all together to create what's called the United States of America. So it's America with a whole bunch of states that's united together to be America as a whole. And I believe that all these states should not have individually their own laws and whatever. We're supposed to be America. All the states united together come together to be America, United States of America. So we need to get rid of all this stuff and just go back to the Declaration of Independence created for America, Americans. So, it's all getting distracting. Something going on somewhere. But, yeah, we need to get rid of all these stupid laws, or all these, or the ability for states to make laws. They can't. No state constitution gives them the right to make laws. So this is what all I believe. Even the United States Constitution does not state the states get to make laws. And the states can't. They don't exist. They're imaginary. So there is no such thing as state laws. And the governors and the presidents and all, none of them can really make laws. And the only laws that they make in Congress and the House of Representatives is in Washington, D.C. That's the only place they can make laws and enforce them. They cannot overreach into America. The only thing they can overreach for, or to anyone that's in America, is those that's attached to Washington, D.C., the United States Federal Corporation. If they need to, they can come into America and grab whoever they need, or contact, whatever, and tell them we need this person. Go get them and bring them to us. Or get them and put them in jail and we'll come and get them. And that's all they could do with a warrant. And the affidavit that was created to have a warrant created. There has to be an affidavit, a complaint form. Always has to be a complaint form when you go to court. And then the victim must show up to court to take the stand. No victim, no crime. If the victim cannot take the stand because it's not a real person, it's just a state, there's no real crime. So, you all take care. Bye.